Hey guys, what's up? Ronnie Kelley out here at Lake Fork Guide on your Lake Fork Guide Network. So Skeeter Owners is right around the corner. It's late May, early June. We're going to be fishing offshore for the next 2 to 4 months out here, and so the settings on these Hummingbird helixes is probably going to be one of the most critical parts of my day in and day out fishing. I want you guys to come with me and look at my graph and show you exactly how I set these units up. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the graph right here, and I'm sitting still for video purposes, but you're going to see the two different palettes that I use on the down imaging. So I'm going to click over to my down imaging screen. Now I'm on 35 foot of water, so that's the bottom of the graph. Now I'm keeping it on 35, and I keep it on 35 because a lot of times I'm graphing from 12 to 35 foot of water, and so I want to keep it in there. That way the size of the fish, if I see a fish right here in 5 foot of water, or if I see a fish in 35 foot of water, they're going to stay the exact same size. Knowing the size of fish is a really big deal. There's a lot of times that you're going to see schools of fish and you're not going to be exactly sure what they are. And once you've kind of figured out, you pull up and you see a group of fish, and we'll show some images in here, but you see a group of fish, and based on the size of that group of fish, and you catch some, it gives your confidence up and gives you the ability to kind of look at that fish and know exactly what size fish that is. And you don't want to pull up on a school of fish that look like they're 1 to 2 pound fish, and you're in a tournament that takes 30 pounds to win. You don't want to pull up on a school of 4 to 6 pound fish and you're at Lake Fork and everything's got to be under 16 inches or 1 over 24 inches. Right here, we're going to go to sensitivity. Now, I've got the sensitivity settings at 16. I'll adjust this. And one really cool feature about Hummingbird is when you're on this screen right here, the plus and minus sign allow you to adjust your sensitivity. So it goes up with the plus and down with the negative. Going back to the menu, on my contrast, I tend to keep my contrast 2 points under my sensitivity. It just gives the contrast in the image a lot better view. It shows that shadow, and it shows that image a lot better. Down at chart speed, now I'm going to run about 4 miles per hour when I'm idling, give or take, and so I'm going to keep that chart speed at 4 now. So I'm going to want the chart speed to kind of match the boat speed pretty close. There's a lot of times if I'm just on regular idle and my foot's not on the pedal whatsoever, that I'm going to be a little closer to 3 miles an hour, but most of the time I've got my foot just pushing the pedal just enough to keep me right around 4 miles an hour, and so that chart speed needs to kind of match that. Let's talk about color imaging. Now, there's a lot of different palettes that people use, and the one I like the best is palette 8. And so palette 8 gives you a green bottom. Now when you get to a hard bottom, it's going to show red. I don't know if you can zoom in and show that right there, but on that image right there, you'll see the red. That's going to be the density. And so kind of the way that down imaging works is a little different than your regular 2D sonar. So let's say 2D sonar, when that ping goes straight down and it hits something, let's take the steering wheel for instance. That sound signal comes from here, straight down, hits that, and basically that ping is measuring the density of whatever it's hitting, and it's going back up and it's turning a light on. And that's the way 2D sonar works. Now on down imaging, it's kind of the opposite. It goes down and it turns a light off, and so it's turning this off and it's leaving this on. So on this image, when it turns it off, when that light, the stronger and the more dense it is on this particular palette, the more red it has in it. And so you pull over a school of fish and it's pinging those fish and it's coming down and it's hitting small fish. Let's say my boat's here, my ping comes down, hits this and goes back up. And this right here is a 1 pound sand bass. I'm just gonna get some green in my image. If it comes down and it's a 5 pound largemouth, I'm gonna get some greens, a lot of red and green. It's gonna have a circle with a lot of red in it. That's a really big deal, and that allows you to see the density. And a lot of times, especially if you're just using the down scan and you go over something and you're not sure exactly what it is, one thing I'll do, now this is my idle graph setting here. I've got a small map, I've got my down scan, and I've got my side scan. A lot of times what I'll do, and again, we've got 1, 2, and 3 saved buttons here, and then kind of for me, when I'm idling, this exits my 4th button. And because if I'm pinging this and I'm not getting a really good image, I'm not showing a really good ping, I'm not seeing a lot of red, but I'm not 100% sure what's in there, I'll hit that exit button and it goes straight to 2D sonar. Let's talk about side imaging for a second. It's sort of the same thing. I'm fishing offshore, I'm looking left, I'm looking right. I'm going to keep my side imaging on 60 foot. It gives me the ability to look to the left, look to the right, 60 foot. So from here, and again, we're sitting still, and we're going to show you guys some great images, but from here down is the bottom, and from here to here is 3 boat links. And I just look at that as 3, you know, I look to my left and I go, there's a boat, there's a boat, and there's a boat. And it gives me an idea. So now one thing I'll do, let's say I'm graphing and I see a group of fish right here. I'm going to hit my arrow key all the way over there, and I'm going to hit a waypoint.
Well, you just hit mark twice?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to hit exit. I'm going to go back to my other screen. It's going to show me where that's at. This gives me the ability to turn around and graph back over it.
So when you need to mark a waypoint quick, you just scroll over to it, hit mark twice, and hit exit.
That's it. And then you're going to go back over it, and you're going to have the ability to not only see it on side scan, but hopefully see it on down scan and get a little bit of density in it. Now, with that being said, I like to fish about 60 foot away from stuff. So when I set up on a spot, I set up on a waypoint, I'll keep my boat 50 to 60 foot away from it, kind of depending on the depth. Let's talk about settings over here. On this particular graph, I've got my side imaging on 17. Now that's going to vary. The deeper I go, a lot of times, the more I'll have to, the higher I'll have to take that side imaging sensitivity, and I'll keep the contrast the same as the down imaging. I'll keep it about 2 points below. Now, with this being said, when you get over a group of fish, if you're not seeing them real good, adjust this. And the same thing applies to this that applies to down imaging. You can adjust the sensitivity with a plus and negative. So I'm going down, so you can see I'm at 15. I go up back to 17, you can see I'm at 17 there. Chart speed's 4. I'm keeping that because most of the time I'm idling at 4. Now, one pretty cool feature that this has, if let's say I'm going by a roadbed and I'm going to keep the bridge on my left, I have the ability to move over and just look at the full screen to the left, or I have the ability to go to the right and look at the full screen from here to the right, 60 feet. This particular palette color I have is on 3. We're going to show you guys some images. It shows up really good. The fish are going to show up white on this dark palette, and it's going to give you a really, really clear and bright image of what a bass looks like, what small bait fish look like, and what a cluster of bait fish look like. So we're coming over this ridge, and we're coming out on the side of it, and you can look right there. It's hard to see that on camera, but you can see that small group of fish, and these aren't real big fish. I mean, that's a 4 or 5 pounder, 4 or 5 pounder. It's smaller. You see 2 sitting side by side right there. We're gonna make a turn and cross it up and look at it a little bit better real quick. And again, this is just side scan. I'm shooting out 60 both ways. We're gonna come over these fish, and you'll see the waves in there, and that's just from the boat moving up and down. We're looking straight down, hit the bottom, and looking 3 boat links out to our left. Right here you'll see a fish. You see the white dot with a shadow up under it. You can see some more shadows. The fish aren't showing up real good. They're not real big. A couple nice fish right here. I'm making a turn, so it's starting to smear, but if you look right here, you can see another fish sitting right at the very top peak of the ridge. Very top. We're gonna idle up this ridge. While we're fishing, you see these bluegill beds and see these specks? See bluegill? See the little speck inside of there? That's a little bluegill. And see these small fish all around it? Those are those small bass. So there's not many brim beds up here, but you can see how there's some brim around these beds. Let's make another little turn around here. See, there's a nice fish right there. That's about a 3, 4 pounder maybe. And you can see these beds, and there's some.
So you're seeing little bluegill beds up on the crest of this point.
Yep.
And then there's that hard drop off.
Yep, and see that drop right there? And there's a few more beds. Guys, that's the way I keep my down imaging and my side scan set up on this Hummingbird Helix unit. I hope that helps some of you guys be able to locate and identify bass. You know, it's really important to have confidence in your electronics. I think the key to offshore fishing is to have confidence in your electronics. I tell my customers, for about every 30 minutes to hour of fishing we're going to spend about an hour to 2 hours just graphing and idling and locating bass on the down scan and the side scan. So hopefully that helps you guys locate and catch some big fish. And hey, if you guys want to get out here, get in the Skeeter with me, get a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more in-depth tips and techniques and the ways to use this, check us out at yourlakeforkguide.com. You can book trips through there, and you can call that hotline and book us right there on the Billy Lawson Fishing at Lake Fork hotline. And hey guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you right here next time on Your Lake Fork Guide.